This video is focused on easy to implement tips and tricks for laminating and installing graphics on vehicles using Mimaki UV inks printed with the UCJV300 series. The Mimaki website has invaluable information on the UCJV300 series, including 2 UV curable inks that are suitable for vehicle wrapping, LUS 170 and LUS 200. Be sure to load the inks and the chip card into the printer properly, and always be sure to download the specific profile for the material being printed on for optimal ink coverage. And note that with Mimaki UV curable inks, they dry immediately. This means that as soon as the printing process is complete, the roll of media can be taken to the laminator, no outgassing time needed, which is a huge time saver. Load the digital media into the machine and laminate in a standard manner with the normal pressure commonly used. It is important to note that UV inks have a slight texture to it. This can mean that with certain laminations it will cause what is called silvering. This will go away on its own after a few days, but to speed up this process, here's an easy solution. Increase the pressure on the rollers of the laminator to maximum and raise the heat on the rollers to 140 degrees Fahrenheit or 60 Celsius. Make sure the temperature of the roller is correct and even, side to side, and run the material through the laminator one more time at a slightly slower speed. The silvering is now gone and the install can begin. Every ink platform behaves differently to stretch, and here you'll get a demo on how Mimaki UV inks behave. Here are 2 pieces of cast digital print film, and both are the exact same length. One piece is heated and stretched dramatically, then allowed to cool back down to room temperature. The piece is now folded in half to show that it's been stretched around 100%. You can see that some of the color has become lighter, and on the darker areas, there is even separation of the ink layer, which shows the white below it. The second piece is now heated and stretched, but in a normal manner, in this case, around 30%. You can see that the colors haven't changed and are still vibrant. And now we go back to that first piece, which was overstretched, and if it's not touching the vehicle, it can be held away loosely, heat can be added, which triggers the memory effect, and the ink layer will go back to its original color, even if the inks had separated. Now let's see some tips and tricks for real-world vehicle applications using UV ink, and we begin on this extreme recessed area. The liner is removed, the film bridged over the recessed area, and heat is added to relax the film. But note that with Mimaki UV inks, the film won't glass out and may in fact look like it has tension wrinkles. But know that this is a simple property of UV ink and the film will actually install and perform as normal. And be sure to note that even on extreme recessed areas, the color holds up perfectly. We now move on to extreme compound curves, and this mirror will be wrapped completely with cast film using Mimaki UV ink. It holds its color on both the outside and the inside sections of the mirror. No issues. And even though Mimaki UV inks give the film a very slight textured appearance, this doesn't affect cutting at all. Click and cut the excess film away as normal, and a good tip is to add heat to the edge right before sealing the deal with a squeegee. One important aspect to note is when post-heating, avoid going past the recommended temperature set by the manufacturer, especially on plastic sections like mirrors and bumpers. Here the temperature is 135 degrees Celsius, which is 45 degrees above the recommended temperature. This can cause the ink layer to separate. And because it's on the body, there's no chance to pick the material back up and self-heal it like you saw with the strip earlier. So, once you know this, install the wrap film on these areas as normal, and if you stay within the right post-heat window, the memory will be reduced and the Mimaki UV ink looks and holds up perfectly for the long term. This has been a tips and tricks video on how to laminate and install Mimaki UV inks with the UCJV300 series printers. For more information and questions, you can always go to the Mimaki website. This video has been proudly produced by the Rep Institute.